All right. So so my PC wants to do the little technical difficulties thing. Yeah,
Your show now.
So just bear with me, and we ready.
So it
Come on.
appears you're calling back
Let's
into a
get it
live
going
show.
now.
We are reconnecting you now.
Here we go now. Okay. Urban Therapy with Sun Show on a Saturday. I didn't think that I was going to have enough energy, but I'm coming through with the synergy. Me and you together synchronized like a watch, and I'm going to make sure that I clock and be here for this show. And we're going to get this day going out like this. It's a hot day going up to the 90s, and I'm like, oh, the dark days behind me. No, wait. Nah, we're going to still do it. Yo, check it. It's the Daily Go Getterism show. Actually, it's Urban Therapy with Sun. And yo, we gonna get this thing popping, dropping just like a teardrop, but it still pop. And nobody cries, nobody dies. We come together for the truth and let the lies get left in the dark, spark up like a blunt. But I'm going to give the people just what they want. Yeah. And you understand what I'm trying to do. It's all about me and you, we crew. And I do what is necessary, varies in a lot of different forms. And I make sure that you get joined. So today, we're talking about your ex everything. How people be blaming their ex everything. Everything. Everybody did me bad in the past. My people didn't last a very long. I had to raise myself on my own, and my girl, my woman, everybody just showed me a lot of evil things, but I'm still here and I'm still the king. Well, how can everybody in your past be the problem? That's all I want to know. How can everybody in your past be the problem? But you probably know somebody, just like I probably know somebody, who's feeling some kind of way about their ex everything. Yeah, this job that I used to work on, they blah, 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 blah. And this girl, she's a blah, 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 blah. And my man, he's the blah, 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 blah. All they did was cheat and lie. And my girl, my man, did blah, 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 blah. All my friends, they was jerking me all around. All they did was like a blah, 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 blah. And they put me down. My peoples was never there. And they blah, 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 blah. Everybody know? Well, how are you still here if nobody ever came to your aid, lent any support, was down with you, took that ride with you? But let some people tell it, yo, my ex, all of them, all they did was cheat and lie and knock me up and then walk by like they didn't know me. No support paid to my children. And yeah, they all ill and I don't understand. I was a good woman. They was a bad man, but I stuck in there and took the stand. I don't know, y'all. But we're going to get into it. Urban Therapy with Sun 752. This is the Urban Therapy with Sun show. We do this every single Saturday from 1 p.m. till around 2:30-ish. And the reason that we say 2:30-ish is because sometimes it gets so heated that we just have to do a little OT on a Saturday. And it is a Saturday. This is the show where adults come out and play with other adults. We laugh, we cry, we argue, fuss, and fight, go back and forth with each other, bust it up all crazy. We take an introspective look into our own personality to see the way that the universe projects us into this thing called the world and try to figure out this thing called life. I am your host, Sun 752, aka Omar with the. And if you can't say Omar with the. Well, then you just say Omar with the R. This is the Urban Therapy with Sun show. I'm feeling like a real man should, and I hope y'all feeling like real men and women should also. So, we, you and me. I said we, you and me. We're talking about feeling some kind of way about your ex everything. All of your problems came from the past. Nobody ever gave you a chance. Nobody ever gave you a break. Everybody worked you to the bone. Everybody stole from you, took from you, used and abused you. Like, God, yo. In the description of the show that I wrote up, I was talking about how even successful people, even extremely successful people, talented and successful people, will often point towards something that happened to them a long time ago. Now, I know that there is no accounting for the way that a past traumatic event can affect a person because we can all experience PTSD in our own ways. I get that. I get it. I overget it. I overstand it. But come on, man. When Michael Jordan was inducted into the NBA Hall of Fame, and he took the moment out, he took his shining, glaring moment out to talk about his high school basketball teammate who was chosen to start over him. And we looking at everybody looking at Mike like, you're what? You're Michael. You're not talking about. Listen, you done beat Patrick Ewing. You done beat Karl Malone. You done beat Charles Barkley. You done beat Tim Duncan, David Robinson. You done beat Akeem Olajuwon. You done beat Magic Johnson, Kobe Bryant. What are you talking about? Yeah, that's what he was talking about. And he was serious. He was dead serious. Yeah, it all goes back to when I was in high school. Yeah, everybody was they let him start over me, and he was supposed to be so much better than me. Yeah, well, look at me now. Like, yeah, he been looking at you now for the past 30 years. Are you crazy? This guy. And he was serious, though. So you never know what's going on inside the crazy head of a person, whether they are successful or not. I can kind of see it. I don't know about y'all, but I can kind of see it if you're talking about a person who has been made to fail, set up to fail all of their lives by somebody. But we're talking about Michael Jordan at his Hall of Fame induction. Michael Jordan is arguably the greatest basketball player that ever lived. Arguably. I don't think he is, but he is definitely in the top three. Ain't no way around it. I think Wilt Chamberlain was the best. I think Wilt was the best ever. But you can't argue with two back-to-back three-peats. It's hard to argue about that. 6 rings, never lost a championship. You know, I would have thought at his NBA induction ceremony, I thought he would have said some derogatory stuff about Isaiah Thomas, because him and Isaiah Thomas never mended ways. Isaiah never showed Michael Jordan love, and vice versa. But no, he goes all the way back to high school. Like, yeah. Isaiah and Bill Laimbeer and who all the bad boys, Joe Dumars and even his current teammate at the time, who would become his current teammate of the ugly guy that had all the tattoos and the blonde hair, Dennis Rodman, Rick Mahorn, all of those cats. Yeah, they played bounty ball. You know, they never deserved to win a championship. They played with no finesse and any skill. They just beat up everybody, and the refs would let them do it. I guess he looked at them like, yeah, well, they taught me the game. They were just trying to win. But my high school teammate was the golden boy. He almost stopped my whole career. He almost blocked my entire ish. Well, I don't know. You never know what's going on inside the head of a person. You never know what's going on inside of the head of a person who is successful or unsuccessful in what they do. I see that we have a call on the line. Call, I'm going to get with you in just a second. So, yeah. feeling some kind of way about your ex everything. Now, if you've ever had a friend, a family member, somebody that was close to you that you had to listen to boo hoo and bitch, piss, and moan about what happened in their relationship, what happened in their marriage, what happened in their family. Oh yeah, he did me wrong. She cheated on me. I was taking care of my biz, and all they was taking care of was the soul of his. She was sucking him. She was getting this shit off. She was giving him a baby. Okay. At some point, you have to pick yourself up off of the canvas and make a conscious decision that you're not going to be a victim anymore. No more victimization for me. From here on out, I'm going to make sure that I win. I'm going to ensure my win in some category, in some way. I don't care what it is that I have to do, but I'm going to do it, get it done, and everything is going to be all right. Good looking out, T. Carey, right? Morning, noon, and night. It's always great to have my peoples going directly into your site. And Robbie Ming, my big sis, doing a thing. She's something like a queen for a king. It's no thing. And my brother from another mother, Norris Hill. Sit back, relax, do your thing, and chill. And Stacey White coming through today, not tonight. It's good to see you. Thanks for coming on, shine bright. And Job Biggs, what's up, kid? I'm glad you came through. It's always great to see you, and you're glad you did. Word up, y'all. So this is the Urban Therapy with Sun Show. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure that y'all share the show. Make sure that y'all subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. We are talking about blaming everything on your ex. Everybody. It's all their fault. I didn't do nothing. Feeling some kind of way about your ex everything. Feeling some kind of way about your ex everything. All right, we have a caller on the line. Caller with the last number 6606. Welcome to the Urban Therapy with Sun Show. Hold on. This PC is acting a fool. So okay, okay. All right, here we go.
It's working, yo.
There
it's
you go.
Working.
All right.
It's working.
All right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you loud and clear. How you doing this afternoon?
All right, though. You know what? Sometimes when I go on a show, when they've known me long enough, because I've been on Blog Talk Radio for a while, you know, they like to play the particular song. They think I'm crazy. You know that one? They think it's not one. So I like that song. But I have to tell you, I am very, very glad to have finally found somebody who is light years ahead of me in craziness. And I think you know who I'm talking about.
I'm just saying, though.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Excellent. But I tell you know what? Wilt Chamberlain always was my first pick. Nobody ever, okay, won the MVP, the Rookie of the Year, and the scoring championship other than Wilt Chamberlain. And they changed the rules just for him.
They had to.
So, yeah.
Because Wilt could hit it from anywhere on the court. He could hit the shot.
He was not just, he wasn't just a dunker.
He hardly ever dunked. Mm-hmm. That's not what he did.
He had a fadeaway off the backboard that was sweet.
Yeah.
For a guy 7'1".
Yeah. Yeah. Wilt was.
He knew how to play ball. And since you're a fan of his, you got to know also that at the end of his career, they asked him to participate because he wasn't the scorer that he used to be. He knew. He even said to his teammates one time when he was playing Abdul, and he said that Jabbar was at that particular time better than he was. So he had a little bit of humility. But I think like seems to me that you're a Chamberlain fan, that he was in 1 year the best passer in the league.
I've never seen a player like Wilt Chamberlain. Now he was playing way before I could watch him, but seeing his highlights and looking at his stats, like he was like ridiculous. Like he was an all-around basketball player. Like he was basketball. he embodied what basketball was. Like I've never seen anybody before or after him that could do what he did. If he was as aggressive on the court as Michael Jordan was, as far as aggressive as far as directing his teammates and demanding that, like Jordan would tell you, if you don't play right, you're not playing no more. Like he was the coach. You know what I mean? He got away with that.
Right.
You know, if Wilt was like that, I'm not sure how it would have turned out. You know, because it was a different time, a different social scene. You know what I mean? And you know, so you know, him being good friends with Bill Russell, who won 8 championships.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
I think he won 10, didn't he?
I thought it was 8. I think it's 8. But you know, watching Bill Russell, but Bill Russell always had a team around him to help him win.
Absolutely.
Wilt didn't have that.
That's right.
If he had like at least another 1 or 2. Listen, you can't score 100 points in one game and say that you have teammates. There's no way. There's no way.
Because if you have teammates, you'd be passing off to them. He was not a selfish player.
Yeah.
And he did. His field goal percentage was over 50%.
Yeah.
So he knew what he was doing.
Yeah. They still lost that game. Like, how is that possible? You know, 100 points is a high-scoring game. One player had that and he still lost? Yeah. That pretty much lets you know what was going on with the Sixers. They suck. But but yeah. So, but one thing about Wilt Chamberlain that you'll notice, I've never heard Wilt Chamberlain complain about, you know, he could have easily complained about how the money in the NBA was extremely short. He had to demand to get paid as much as he eventually did. And he could have talked about how he could have really complained about he could have said things like, Bill Russell only won all of those championships because it was set up for him to do so. The cards were directly stacked against me, and I made the best of it that I could. He could have easily said that, but he didn't. You know what I mean? If like Michael Jordan complained a lot. I mean, they have the Jordan rules in refereeing. That lets you know he was bitching consistently and constantly. You know, but for Jordan to go all the way back to high school, his high school teammate, you know, like, are you kidding me? Like, gotta be kidding me.
Yeah, but he was only 5'9" at the time. He did a growth spurt over the summer, and then nobody got when he got cut. He went home. He tried, but when he reached 6'5", I don't think it. No. Nobody outscored him. Nobody outdid him. He was doing the McDonald's Player of the Year and all of that after he hit 6'5".
Yeah,
and then
which makes sense.
That, he hit 6'6".
Yeah.
But the thing is that you talk about surrounding players. If it weren't for Rodman, for Scott Pippen, he would still be the leading scorer in the league. I think he led the scoring. I think he had scoring titles like 8 seasons in a row. But he didn't win the championship until they came along.
Now, what's interesting about Jordan, and like I said, you know, this show is about blaming everything on your ex, everything. Like, nobody has ever done me wrong. Woe is me. I had to do everything on my own, blah, 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 blah. You would think that, he would point to his ex-wife, for maybe holding him back or keeping him from being everything that he wanted to be. But it's interesting that the more interesting point is that his ex-wife doesn't go around blaming him. And she absolutely could. You know, I mean, putting up with all the infidelity, putting up with all of the the gambling, all of the crazy stuff. It could be said.
The gambling.
It could be said that he was responsible for getting his own father killed. I've heard people talk about it. You know what I mean? You know, he was targeted. I've heard some stories about how his dad may have been targeted because of his gambling debts and, you know, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, so,
Yeah.
you know, for him to have the audacity to go back to blame, you know, to point to his high school classmate, teammate, whatever, you know, for that was his springboard pretty much for becoming his motivation for becoming what he had become.
Right.
And then but he didn't say it as an inspirational. He was mushing it in his face. Like, look, I'm everything and you're nothing. You're nothing. Like, what are you doing?
I didn't see the induction speech, so I did hear about.
It ain't pretty.
I saw one video, one part of it. Yeah, and then I'll get on with the X in about a second, if you don't mind, if I mention this, because I'll forget it if I move off from it for now.
Right.
But I remember when he started talking about the coach said to him, because he had the ball. He wasn't a ball hog, but he always had the ball, and he's always shooting it. The coach said to him, you know, Michael, there is no wait a minute. There is no I in team. And then Jordan says, no, but there's an I in win. I like that response.
Yeah.
But getting back to the X's, you were right about, you never know what a person, even though they may be very successful, about what's in their mind. A lot of times, a lot of people will recall the moment of some kind of failure a lot more than they will recall the time they won the Super Bowl or the championship. And Jordan's an example of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. 6 championships later in a Hall of Fame induction, and this is what he has to give. But you know, when I was I'll never forget when I met a friend of mine through another friend years ago. This was all the way back in like 1990. And we were all going to the movies. I think we were going to go see let's say Goodfellas, something like that. And right. I'm just meeting this guy, and that night he was bitching and complaining about how his ex was this and she had done that. And you know, when you first meet a person, and you know, these are guys, we know we all guys hanging out, we're gonna go see this movie, you know, we drinking, having fun, whatever. And we talking about going to go get some new girls, and he yeah, man, and she did this and she did that. And I remember thinking to myself, like, what the hell is going on here? What's happening? You know, and you know, after I got to know him a little bit more, I realized, like, oh, he was really devastated by this chick that he had just freshly broken up with. But the thing about it was, she hadn't actually done him wrong. He pretty much accused her of messing around with another friend of his, and he never proved that. He never was able to prove that it was true. So he lost her. She wouldn't take him back, and that's where things really got out of hand. But yeah, for years, at least 2 or 3, maybe 4 years after that he pointed to that situation. I'm thinking, like, dude, let it go. You know what I mean? Like, because we were young at the time. I wasn't even 20 yet. I was 19 at the time. So, you know, so if I'm 19, then that means he was a year older, so he was 20. I'm thinking, like, this is dangerous. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, but yeah. So it was all his ex's fault.
People do it, yeah.
So
people always blame other people. People always remain. Will always have that thought of theirs inside their head for years and years and years about what their exes did to them, their ex-friends, their ex-colleagues, their ex-bosses. Because a lot of people will blame their present situation, what happened in the past, as opposed to taking responsibility for it. But I also think it's human nature for us to be stung and to have that sting last longer and hurt more than the victory. Because I think the victories, we like them, but they don't last as long. The sting of some sort of defeat lasts longer, I believe.
I always wondered about that concept, about the pain lasting longer than the pleasure. Because okay,
Uh-huh.
in the case of winning something, um, I don't understand why that. Okay, for example, sometimes when I'm feeling low, I'll go watch the Eagles win Super Bowl 52. And
Mm-hmm.
I swear it does the trick every time. Like, oh God, it's like poetry in motion. Waiting so long for them to win a Super Bowl and thinking that I was going to die without ever seeing it. And then it actually happening and them beating the Patriots, like it was the greatest thing ever. So I'm like,
Right.
no, victories last long too. It's just that
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we concentrate on the negativity so much. Some of us use it for a crutch. Some of us use it for motivation. Some of us
Mm-hmm.
just misuse it and abuse it. You know what I mean? But
Mm-hmm.
I think that pleasure
Yeah.
lasts just as long as pain if you give it a chance to live. I don't think we give our victories a chance to grow. But
Mm-hmm.
we'll let our failures, last through whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I
Well,
mean?
I think it's
I don't
human
get it.
nature. Because yeah, excuse me. Like I was a decent athlete. I was not in the upper echelon. I was like a secondary, like extracurricular, um, organized sports at camp, and so I was good under those conditions. But when I went out for my high school team, basketball team, I didn't make it. I wasn't surprised because I wasn't doing well.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is that I have trophies for winning championships in softball and basketball, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when I think about um, high school, I don't think about the things I did well when I was chosen first, when I was chosen captain of the secondary level.
Mm-hmm.
I think about some of the failures,
Yeah.
and I think it's human nature. I'm glad that you reminded me because it's been a while since I thought about the trophies. I got them displayed on my trophy case too.
That's
And
what I'm saying.
man, I'm telling you, yeah, you gotta have successes when you're growing up. And sports is great for doing that.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, we
You got a trophy case.
yeah.
You got a maybe your mother's living room full of trophies, and we're talking about victories don't last. Yes, they do. We got all kinds of trinkets. Plus we have
Yeah.
it on we have it on video. People who only remember you from times that you played or whatever, and that's in a lot of things. Like I don't know about you, but if anybody has ever come to you later on in your life and told you that you really meant something to them, or when they saw you do something, it really made them feel great about something, or you really inspired them, and it might have been something that you never really even thought about because it was something insignificant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You weren't even performing, and and but you realize what it meant, what you were doing with them or doing to them meant so much to them. So you were
Hmm.
giving somebody else a victory or somebody else inspiration without even trying or even knowing about it. So that lasts
Hmm.
also. You know what I mean? Because it could have been years ago. All right, like I remember one thing about this whole concept is that a lot of times we fail to own our part in whatever we fail at or don't do well at. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
it's hard to do it, but sometimes you have to train yourself to do it just enough to be able to hold yourself accountable and to learn and grow from it, but not enough to keep beating yourself and badgering yourself and abusing yourself about it. I flunked 8th grade,
Hmm.
and it was weird that I flunked 8th grade because I've never really been bad in school. And I definitely had the aptitude. And I could never picture myself failing at anything academic, but I failed in 8th grade. Thinking back on it, I was going through puberty and it was doing a job on me. You know what I mean? There were things, there were things going on inside my body that I didn't understand. And on top of that, there were things going on at home that I didn't want to, necessarily deal with. And it was,
I had that in my thing too. Maybe besides which, you went to the University of Pennsylvania, so you learned from your experience.
No, Penn State. Penn State. I'm not that smart. I went to Penn State. Yeah, wait a minute. Slow down.
Well, Penn State is football.
That's right. We have different kind of victories at Penn State. No Ivy League for me. We're not going there. So, but yeah. So, at the time, I was looking at this thing. It was embarrassing seeing all of your classmates move on, and I was really beating myself up over this thing. And you know what? To this day, my classmates, because through Facebook, social media, whatever, you get in touch with a lot of your old classmates. They don't even remember that I didn't move on with them. They don't remember that shit.
See?
They don't. Yeah, they thought maybe like, okay, he didn't walk with us, but he definitely they don't remember because it wasn't that deep to them. I was just their friend. I was just their classmate. I was just, a cool guy that they still remember and are cool with to this day. They don't remember, he wasn't stupid. He wasn't dumb. Yeah, that was me. That was me giving that negativity, that energy, because I was going through it. You know what I mean? But I had to pick myself up, repeat 8th grade again, and move on. I can't blame the school, the principal, my teachers, and all of that kind of stuff. Hey, there was something going on with me that I didn't understand and that I couldn't even really get help with at the time. I didn't understand. I didn't know what was going on. But I definitely did better after that.
I hear you though. When it comes to emotional turmoil with the family, that can have something to do with it, because I was doing good in grammar school until one particular year, and that was because of the emotional turmoil going on in my family. After that was finished, then I went ahead. So I know what you're talking about. If you've got distractions which are up the ass, you can't concentrate on what you're supposed to concentrate because you've got burdens on your shoulders that you didn't ask to have to be placed there. So I know what you mean.
Yeah. And so often we're conditioned to blame somebody else for whatever happened to us, because they didn't take care of us, because they didn't do for us, because they teased us, because they made us feel bad. Yeah, those things affect us, but they can't control us. And if you're going to allow everything and everybody from your past to control everything that's going on today and whatever's going to happen tomorrow, then, so you're not going to take any control over your own life. Well, I guess the answer for some people is no. It's all their fault.
I would think for most people it's no. When you take a look around you, how many people actually learn from their failures? I think something like 2%.
You think is that low?
I think some people just love to be in that quicksand. They love to be the victim in their own mind. He did it to me, she did it to me, and I didn't do jack shit.
Right. Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah, and you're right. And that's exactly what we're talking about today. You know what I mean? Your ex everything. They didn't train me at my job. They didn't pay me. They promoted somebody over me. They never gave me a raise. I never got vacation. Like, come on. You signed up for the job. You could sign up for another one. You know what I mean? Yeah, they may not have done everything for you to propel you into a successful future, but guess what? They paid you for whatever you did during the time that you were there, and nobody put a gun to your head to make you take the job or to stay at the job. It was a choice. If you didn't like the way that the job was doing, listen, I've changed jobs probably 6 times since 2017. Look, I'm going to go where somebody pays me and where the work conditions are good enough. You know, at this time in my life, I don't have time to be messing around. You know what I mean? I don't think I'm going to retire from any of these jobs. I don't, you know, it's like I can do this thing well, but seeing the way that business is set up in the industry that I work in, it's like, yeah, I don't really think that this is for me as far as hanging in there until retirement age. So I have to find something else that I want to do independently so I can run it my own way with my own ideas, and I'll have to live and die that way. And I'm good with that. But I can't, you know, these jobs, they made me an offer when I started the job. If I was okay with it, I accepted it, and I worked it. I worked within the parameters of that salary. I can't blame them for everything that went wrong, because at the end of the day, like my dad always said, did they pay you? Yeah, shut up.
Well, I understand about 90% of what you're saying, but I'm going to disagree with the other 10%.
Okay.
And here's why. Because I was also in that situation where I did not like the environment I was in, so I changed jobs. But I changed jobs a lot more often than you did. I was in sales. And there were times where I just didn't like the policy of the, I have to tell you this, every company I ever worked for, if I was there for about 2 years or so, except for one company, they always fucked around with our commission.
Oh, okay.
Always. So, you know, you're always then wondering, okay, is this company going to do the same? So what happened was, so I switched jobs, but the thing is that I learned from that, and then on the next particular job, I worked myself up from the sales agent to marketing director of a very, very small company. Very small. In fact, I was just the titular head. You know, I was the head, but so what? And here's why. When I negotiated my contract with the person, they said that, yes, we need organization and we need, what else? It was control, it was something else, but it all boiled down to change. So then when I got hired, I always got told, and I was only there for a month because I couldn't take it. I was told, well, we just don't do that here, Joe. But I was hired to do changes. It's a funny thing about people, people always, they never want change, but they always want progress. And how can you have progress without change?
Yeah.
So it was crazy, you know, it's nuts. So people always, it gets back to your topic. People are always blaming other people, and then sometimes it's not your fault. Sometimes it is the other people.
Of course, they're going to be times when people actually targeted you for failure or to harm you or whatever. But if you make it past it, the better thing I would think would be to make sure that you recognize when somebody is trying to be a predator against you like that again, so you can be smarter and you can actually help somebody else that may be in that position who doesn't deserve it. But it's not like that shouldn't hold you back. It shouldn't stop you from trying, and it definitely shouldn't be the reason that some things aren't happening for you anymore, because you escaped that. It would be different if you were still in that situation, but you won. You escaped, and maybe sometimes we struggle with victory identification. Maybe sometimes we don't even know when we've won, and that can be a problem. You know, you're thinking that you didn't win because you didn't win the way you wanted to win. You know what I mean? You may have wanted to be, you may have wanted to win while having your foot on somebody's chest and raising your hands like, ha ha, yeah, you know, you may have wanted to annihilate somebody and you won in a close race. And that's not how you wanted to win. So you don't even consider that to be a win, but it is a win. Imagine how the other person feels. You know, I don't know about you, but I can accept a blowout. I can accept when somebody blows me out in something better than I can if it's close. Because if it's close, I'm like, come on. I'm thinking like I really should have won. You know what I mean? Like I goofed somewhere. But if you blew me out, I'm like, well, I'm just not in your class. You know what I mean? Like I had no business being in the ring with you. Yeah. You know, like you ought to win.
I know.
You know, so yeah. So
I know, because if you're only 2 seconds behind, well, 2 seconds is a lot
yeah.
But if you're like half a second behind, or if you just lost a basketball by 3 points, you could say to yourself, if I just passed the ball to him, if he just passed the ball to me, if I just did a little bit of fake over there, and then
exactly
wondering,
yeah.
But the blowout, you gotta know that you sucked, because
yeah.
if you didn't suck, it wouldn't have been a blowout.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like there's no reason, if it's a blowout, there's no reason to foul in the last 1 minute of the game. Like let it go. Let it go. Today ain't the day. You know, we'll have to regroup and come back tomorrow. But in a close race, there's a lot of uncertainty. You know, you feel like you really should have won. And you know, if it's a sudden death or walk off or a situation where it was win or go home, and now you're home having to think about that, it's tough. It's tough because you're really thinking about what you could have done or should have done in order to make it better. But a lot of people would just go ahead and blame the refs. You know what I mean? Or they'll blame the crowd. They had the home court advantage. What have I heard something?
All the time.
Listen. I've heard about some strange things that football people in hometown football fields have done to one side of the field versus another side of the field in order to gain an advantage. And it's a real thing. It's a real thing. But you have to expect that they're going to do that. Nobody's just going to hand you the win. They're going to try to get with whatever advantage that they can. But yeah, when you don't even recognize when you've won, you know, it's gonna really do a bad job on you as far as your self-esteem and confidence is concerned. You don't even know that you won. I hear people who have broken up with people.
You don't accept it.
Yeah.
You know, but you know where I think it, not only in what we're talking about today, but I also think it affects relationships tremendously. Like, for example, girls, I think in particular, are always mistrustful of the next guy because if they've been rejected like 2 or 3 times, especially if they're gorgeous, and if they've been rejected 2 or 3 times, they can't figure out why guys would reject them. So they're going to anticipate that the next guy in some way, somehow, is going to reject them. They can't really trust the next guy.
Yeah.
But, and I thought, I used to be on the dating site. I put down in my description, don't blame me for your past boyfriends. But then when I started thinking about it, I said, you know what? You can't blame people for not really trusting, because they don't really know you that well. And even if they get to know you that well, they got to know their boyfriend or their girlfriend really well. And it seemed as though when they were at the top, the zenith of that relationship, a guy and that girl dumped them. So how do they know that the next person isn't going to do the same thing when everything is going right? So I asked myself, what can we do? And that's still a pondering question. What can we do in situations like that when a person has been rejected? Not even a lot, but maybe 2 or 3 times in a row before they met me or before they met somebody else. Yeah, I don't blame them for being mistrustful. Because they are going to blame their ex. They may be right to a degree anyway.
Here's the thing. Here's the question that I always have for women who are distrustful of men or who speak badly about men because of the men who have done them bad in the past. I always wonder, do they ever were their total intentions in that relationship good intentions? Because to me, from my experience, nobody complains more than a person that was trying to get you before you got them and you got them first. You understand what I mean? And you know, when it comes to women in relationships, sure, they'll tell you that I did everything. I cooked for him, I cleaned for him. I you know, I gave him sex whenever he wanted. He didn't want for anything. I supported him. I blah 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 blah. And it's just not true all the time. You know what I mean? You never know what a person's unless you were actually in that relationship, you don't know what their true intentions were. So while they're rattling off their bucket list of attributes that they gave in the relationship, they might not be telling you that. Well, and then there was that time that I stopped taking the pill without telling him, so I could get pregnant, so he would marry me, and that worked. You know, I had the look. I had the
little details they leave out.
I mean, you know, all kinds of stuff. Men do it too. You know, like we may have used some type of manipulation tactics in order to get a woman to do our bidding or whatever. You know, that's one of the reasons that they say that all's fair in love and war. As long as it works, nobody has any problems with it. But when it all falls down, then when it falls down and when it falls apart, then everybody has all of these complaints about who did what and who did who to whatever the case may be. But you know, people don't always acknowledge what their true motivations were and it fell. Now somebody out there knows what they were trying to do and that it didn't work. But as long as that person never outs them, never snitches on them or whatever, they can go about their business of saying, all men ain't shit, and all they want to do is blah blah blah, have a bunch of babies over here that they didn't take care of. They never, I've never heard a woman mention the fact that he had a bunch of babies that he didn't take care of, but he had a bunch of babies that he didn't take care of when I met him. And I remember saying to myself, I'm going to make sure he takes care of this one. And then it didn't work. He continued his pattern, but you're not going to mention how.
I'm not going to blame him. Nope.
You're not going. Do you ever acknowledge whether publicly or whether when you're by yourself that, I actually did my children a disservice. I got with this man knowing he wasn't shit and thinking that I could change him around or that he wanted me so bad that he would change himself in order to be with me. And I wind up getting played. So now I'm blaming all men. Now I have four different children by four different fathers, but it was the fifth one that really did me dirty. Like, what the hell? You just never know.
Some people really blame themselves too much. I know. Some people always blame the other person. Now, what you just stated here is an important distinction because there are some women, they know the guy is a rat. The guy is shit, and they're with him. Okay? But there are some women who do not know what their future boyfriend is like until they are with him for a while. Then they get stuck. Those women, I don't blame because they believe that the man has some good qualities and that the man is going to someday go back to the way that he was when they first met. But when you do know that this guy has 3 baby mamas, and that he's not taking care of them, and you're still with him, it's like me hooking up with a whore and then asking where she is on a Friday night. Hey, you think maybe the bar a couple blocks down? Maybe, just asking, the shit. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, really straight like that. I've heard men complain a lot about these women out here. They don't want a good man. They don't want a hardworking man. They don't want a family man. They want some guy with their pants hanging down. This is today type shit. They want a man with his pants hanging off his ass and fresh out of jail and on his way back in jail, selling drugs, running from the law, and doesn't want to do right by his community, his family, or anybody else. That's the kind of men that they love and that they take care of. But somebody who's who's hardworking, who's conscientious, who's considerate, and blah 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 blah, and wants to give him a future, and blah 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 blah. Yeah, they want to treat him like a sucker, and they don't want to. And I'm thinking like, I don't care whether you are a thug. I don't care whether you are a nerd. You have to do something that attracts a woman and that will hold their attraction. For some men, it's money. For some men, it's personality. For some men, it's their physical stats. There are a lot of different ways, but you have just like when you buy a car, you're not just going to gas it up and have it run forever. Certain things are going to break down, so you have to perform routine maintenance, and that's going to involve getting to know your vehicle. So why wouldn't you think that you have to do that in any type of personal relationship when you're dealing with people who are free-thinking individuals? So, but we don't always think that far. It's easy to just blame.
No.
Oh, he did me wrong from the beginning. He never meant any good by me. I'm like, okay.
Oh, yeah. You're talking about sometimes a person is really more upset because they couldn't do it to him or to her before they did it to them.
Right.
How about these women who complain about, you know what, he ripped me off for 100,000, he ripped me off for 10,000, he ripped me off for 1,000,000. But then when you ask him, what did you think he was? Did you think he was a cab driver? No, he said he was the Count of Monte Cristo. Well, there you go. You wanted to hook up with somebody who was a millionaire so you could take advantage of him spending his money on you, but instead he got your money.
Yeah.
And you didn't have any, you didn't know how to discern bullshit from fact. I'm not saying that the girl doesn't have a right to complain to some degree, but when you talk about all these women who say, well, they ripped me off, that's because you bought the bullshit, you wanted the bullshit.
Yeah.
And when he ripped you off once, twice, or 3 times, that's because you thought you were going to get something out of it. His money, but his money didn't come your way. Your money went his way. He got you first.
Yeah. That's right. Like I said, nobody complains more or is upset more than a person who tried to get you before you got them, and then but you got them first. Believe me, you're going to be the bad guy forever, because you may never know. They may never express to everybody what their true intentions were. All they know, or all they could see, is that you won in whatever way that you won. You may not even know that you won, because you may not have known you were in a competition. Sometimes the universe protects you against predators. You didn't know that somebody was trying to cheat you. You didn't know that somebody was trying to hurt you. You didn't know that somebody was trying to set you up. But sometimes the universe will just align the times that you were supposed to be somewhere in order to become a victim, and they will change the times, and somebody and they wind up hurting themselves. You know what I mean? So and they're pissed off at you about it. Like, how could he be late to this damn ambush?
And then of course they're going to blame him and everything else that's involved. Except him. And then there's the other side of the coin where people just blame themselves way more in proportion than they should. And that's another thing about human nature too. You just don't know which person is going to blame themselves more or which person is going to blame the other person more until you actually get to know them. But it's still a burden. It's that not only a burden on them, but it's a burden on you.
Right.
Because here you are trying to give some kind of comfort or solace to try to be a good friend to them.
Yeah.
But they're concentrating on their pain as opposed to, learning from it and recovering from it.
Yeah. One of the biggest problems with people who blame themselves for everything is that they can be borderline or outright suicidal, and that's a problem. Because now it's your job to kind of watch over them all the time, and you can't stop a suicidal person from committing suicide. It ain't going to happen. The first opportunity that they get, they're going to take themselves out of here. But that has a lot to do with deep mental depression and a chemical imbalance that goes untreated and all that kind of stuff. But for the person that hasn't gone that far, for the person that's just really, really masochistic and just always puts themselves in positions to be hurt by somebody or victimized by somebody, and if nobody's around to hurt them, then they'll just hurt themselves. Yeah. You know, unfortunately.
Like moonshots and disease.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, God, not that shit. Not that. I mean, listen. A man can deal with a little postpartum, but that Munchausen syndrome thing, like, come on. You know, because they make up shit. You know what I'm saying? You know, they don't even tell the truth. Like,
no. And then they inflict the pain on themselves, and then they make people wonder where to come from. You know, oh man. I know you talk about a person who's got mental problems, who really has. Talk about the depression that you just mentioned, as opposed to really committing suicide. Their depression is going to make them inflict pain upon themselves, and either make them the victim or in some way glorify them in their own mind in some way.
Yeah, all the time. Hey, let me ask you this. Have you ever had an ex? Have you ever had an ex come back or contact you in order to blame you for everything that's going wrong in their lives? Like, you want to hear that shit?
I'm lucky. No, I never had that. No.
Well, since you haven't had the pleasure of having this happen, I have.
Yeah, I'm having a psycho.
Yeah, listen, I've had letters written to me. Here, you know, handwritten letter, and you get it in the mail like, oh, look, a letter. You know, I haven't gotten one of these in a while. And then when you see the postmark and you see the return address, you're like, oh shit, there's no good that. Look, you're almost ready to drown to put the damn letter in the water because you don't know if it's gonna be anthrax in this shit. So anyway, but so, but
you must have had some girlfriends go. Holy shit!
Well, here's the thing, like, you never know the impact that you have on a person until they come back and tell you sometimes. But I've had ex girlfriends, sometimes not even real girlfriends. They might have been somebody I was just dating, but in their mind, that's what it was. So I've had them. I've gotten a letter before or letters before. My therapist said that I need to contact you in order to blah blah blah. You don't have to respond to this. This is just me letting you know how I felt and blah 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 blah. And I'm reading this shit and I'm like, I'm glad this wasn't in the text message days or well, I'm glad it didn't come through that medium because I would have fired back. Like, you must be out of your goddamn mind. First of all a lot of this stuff is false. Very one-sided.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. So that was sort of like a post Dear John letter. I guess you could call it. And I'm thinking like, but I already don't fuck with you. But okay, you need this for you, and I get that and everything. But I always wondered after that, like, am I supposed to respond to this? Because it could have been a ploy. It could have been a ploy.
She said no, but she wanted you to. She said no, but she wanted you to.
And I suspected that too. And it's like, imagine how they may have felt when I didn't respond, when I didn't give them that energy. It's like, okay, like now, when something is in the mail, unless you send it through what's that, certified mail, you don't even know if they got it. You know what I mean? So you have to just so hopefully you are satisfied with just your side of it, that you wrote the letter, sent the letter, and hopefully that helps you, because that would be a good thing if that actually helps you. But it's one of the weirdest things. One of the weirdest things. exes
No, I
come.
never had the. I
Yeah.
never did have the pleasure of ever breaking up with her. With the psycho, have her break up with me. Maybe one of these days I will, so I can get a little like that and say, "Holy shit!" You know. You mean
It's,
2 years? 2 years ago, I did this, and it still has an impact on you, and I didn't even know I did it.
mhm. Listen, it's a. I'll tell you, you'll read the letter more than once, like because you'll be thinking, like, what the hell is this bullshit? You know what I mean? Like, and me, I can get petty with it. So I'm thinking, like, she don't even know how to write, the big dummy. No wonder we couldn't. I'm like, listen.
No wonder you guys broke up. Yeah.
Listen, if you're gonna write it, look, from my standpoint, if you're gonna write an incriminating letter to somebody, then you need to have all of your T's crossed and your I's dotted, and make sure that letter is perfect. You know what I mean? Because other than that, it's like, look, she didn't even spell my name right. I don't think this was to me.
How come sentence 1 in paragraph 1 doesn't match up with sentence 3 or 4 in paragraph 1? What is she talking about?
Hey, if you go to court and the court document has your name spelled incorrectly, they throw that case out. Case dismissed. I don't know who this person is, but that's not my name. Hey, and they have to throw it out. So in law, things have to be perfect. Now, of course, in personal lives, they don't have to be perfect, but they may need to be perfect in order for them to reach you the way that they need to reach you, especially if that's doing something for themselves. But yeah, going back into your emotional Rolodex and blaming everybody and playing the victim of everybody that you ever came in contact with. It's really not going to fly. It's not. Nobody wants to listen to that time and time again. Nobody is perfect. We all, yeah.
That's right. Nobody. I mean, if it's a long ongoing drama, something like a soap opera that never ends, nobody wants to listen to it, even though the person needs somebody there to listen. Nobody really wants to. You can't blame somebody for saying, you know what, you're draining my earwax. Every time we talk, it's always about the same thing, or maybe the same 2 or 3 different things, but it's always a complaint, always a complaint. That's when you say to somebody, get over it, but the other person isn't going to get over it, but you have to have boundaries as well. You try to help, but if you can't help, you got to let them go. And you have to do it nicely too.
Sometimes
people who do have pain,
No, sometimes you really do have to get over it. Sometimes you have to be trained to switch gears right in the middle of the gear shift. Like, like this ain't working right now. Like, you need to change it right now. You got to change directions right now. It's not going to wait. I don't know, the First Amendment in this country or whatever, that tells us that we have freedom of speech and that we should be able to express ourselves in whatever way, blah, 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 blah. And sometimes I think we take that a little too far, because we have to understand that words can help and they can also hurt.
Words do matter.
But the same words that we use to hurt can wind up hurting us even worse than the person that we aimed them at. We have to be aware of that.
I know you're not a political show, but what would be interesting if you actually did have to show something about the First Amendment, the way that you're describing it. Because I like to say, I like relationships, I like political shows, and I'm going to invite you to come to a show that I go to every Saturday. In case you have the time, it's late. It comes on at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it's called Beyond the Mainstream. But you would have fun there.
Okay.
You would have fun. But the First Amendment is a nice topic, because the First Amendment only applies to the government. It doesn't apply
That's
to other
right.
people.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
Mhm.
Because I mean, as you can see, that the things that we say, I mean, you if you think about the First Amendment, and then you think about your Miranda rights. So you can say anything you want, but everything that you say can and will be used against you. Like, well, in a court of law. And the law is that you have freedom of speech. You see how contradictory that is, but it should show you that there are rules and regulations for everything. You don't just do whatever you want willy-nilly. Somebody had the reason that they made or they afforded you the freedom is because there's something else attached to it that mitigates it, limits it, and regulates it. It's nobody else's fault if you don't understand that, though.
I like the Miranda ruling. It came down from Supreme Court decision there, but I think it took a lot of debate. What I don't like is that you can be warned about whether or not what you're going to say is going to be incriminated against you. But if you talk to an FBI agent, that's automatic perjury if they believe that you lied.
Automatic.
I think that is taking
grand jury bullshit. And like I said, it's a whole mess. You know, like, what do you mean if it can be proven that you've lied? Like, how can you prove that it wasn't real in my eyes? In my mind, I told the truth. That's the way I saw it. So now they want to bring in the whole insanity thing and all that kind of stuff. It's a whole mess. But yeah, but the bottom line is and whatever happens to you, it's not all somebody else's fault. You know, there are plenty of people who have been raised in abusive households that didn't give them a very good chance to succeed in life. There have been plenty of children that were told that they were ugly and that they were stupid and that they were worthless and that they were never going to be anything. And that was their foundation. And they still found a way to get up out of that. Now, everybody's not going to make it out of that. But if you survive, you have to take your survival to the next level. Like, surviving just doesn't mean just living. It means finding a way to be able to take care of yourself, to sustain, to maintain, to improve yourself, to do well. That's what survival is all about. I mean, if you really think about it, you survive versus conditions that would otherwise try to kill you. So in your fight to survive, you would think that you would have learned that, oh yeah, this is more than just existing. This is more than just this is more than I lived a long time just because I didn't get sick. There aren't too many people that can tell that story. Most people who have survived have survived through conditions that would have otherwise sealed their fate of death, sickness, hurt, harm, whatever the case may be. But they survived because they fought against it, and they found a way. They found ways to win. You can't find your way to win blaming everybody else.
No, you can't. And I think those who have had, I'm talking about really atrocious conditions where they've been sexually molested, really raped when they were children, stuff like that. If only what they did was survive and then had a nice job, right? I think that is success for them because their particular conditions are way, way more than the fat kid or the fat girl in school or the person that didn't have a personality, because you do have choices. And to me, that's a cliche, and I shouldn't have used it. But because of the medical condition we undergo, a lot of times we just do not know how to make it because nobody else is around to help us make it. So we have to take the conditions that we know and then we exaggerate them. And then we internally blame ourselves or we externally blame others. And a lot of times, it's just an exaggeration on both parts. You've exaggerated the kind of impact the fat person had on you. You've exaggerated the impact that you were thinking about yourself. And that goes both ways. When you think of yourself as a failure, or you think of yourself as an especially entitled person, you're being an exaggerated jackass both ways.
Right.
You know, you, in my opinion.
No, I think that's a true opinion. We have to find a way. If you can't, one thing that's hard to do. It's hard to fight a person every day and not learn how to beat them. That's one of the reasons why bullies don't like to fight a person consistently. They normally don't have to fight them. They normally just scare them into giving them their money, or making them back down. They know that if a person fights them back, they're going to learn how to beat them. Like, wait a minute, this guy is strong. They're going to learn how to beat him. So, a bully doesn't fight every day. They normally just punch, kick, and scare every day, because that allows them to stay on top. If they actually have to fight every day, then everybody who's looking at him fight is saying like, wait a minute, this guy's not really a great fighter.
That's right.
I think I can take him. You know what I mean? So it doesn't put them in a good position. But that's the same way. That's the same way as we may have to look at ourselves in our fight for better living conditions in our own lives. You know what I mean? We're in this fight every day, but we may be allowing ourselves to be bullied by a certain faction that's not even real. It's just imagined. You know what I mean? Like forces out there.
It's imagined, exaggerated.
Right. Now, and that's not to say that anybody who hasn't been abused isn't affected by that negatively, but you did survive it. So we all need help sometimes learning how to win, just like a sports team or even a team of employees at work. You all have to work together in order to reach that common goal. So you may need that in your personal life. You may need some other team members around you in order to help you get to a happier place, a more satisfied place, a safer place in your life. You know what I mean? And at some point, you're going to have to realize that, and you're going to have to realize that it's not coming from the people that you're blaming. It's not happening.
Mm-hmm. But another thing about human nature, which is really, really counterproductive, is that even if we do realize and seek out help, and it doesn't have to be professional help, but somebody, not a mentor necessarily, let's say a close relative, or trying to make things with your father and your mother or your ex-girl. The thing is, though, is that when you do meet people and they do try to reach out to you, you are so tainted by the past that you do not know how to accept that help. And that's a terrible thing in and of itself.
Yeah, it is. It is. It is. And, do you know what it would be like if dogs or cats, domesticated animals, do you know what it would be like if they blamed everything on their owners? Imagine that.
Jesus. It would be the exact opposite of what I think about dogs. I always say that women should be more like dogs. Pet them, be grateful, feed them, and have a relationship for life. If they blamed it, if they said, this motherfucker isn't letting me out of my cage, this motherfucker isn't letting me go wild, he feeds me, he pets me and everything, but I don't belong here. I belong out there with my pet, with my Uncle Chihuahua.
Yeah.
Boy, and then he's waiting till you go to sleep and biting your ass.
Listen, like, imagine your dog running around saying, I chased balls for this motherfucker. I brought slippers for this bastard. You know what I mean? I caught rabbits and ducks and I did everything. I jogged with his fat ass. With I'm not the fat one. That's him. But I still did it. And this is the thanks I get. Like I can't get an extra treat out of the cabinet for all the good I've done. Yeah. If dogs or cats or
Shit. I just hope it never comes to a pet strike back. Because if it did, we'd all be dead if pets started thinking like humans.
what they say, it ain't no fun when the rabbit got the
I,
gun. And it ain't. It ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun.
no.
Listen, man. I always think about little morbid shit like that. Like, imagine if dogs took humans in the way that humans take dogs in. Like, yeah, imagine if they took us in, made us stay in the house for the rest of our lives, and never let us interact around other human beings. Like, no, look, I gave you a good life in here. You know what I mean? Look, I'm feeding you the meat of other animals. You know what I mean? I'm violating over here. And I let you watch TV. I let you play games. I let you do everything. Thing is, you got to stay in here to do it. Now I'm going to go walk you tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
But I don't.
One time I went up to a chick, it was about a couple of years ago, and she was a cutie, but she was too young for me. But I just felt like in the mood. So she was walking the dog, and I said, it's nice when they're when dogs walk their owners, isn't it? She looks at me and she smiles and she walks away. So I hear what you're saying. If the humans were actually treating us the way we treat them, and we didn't have their particular doggy or pet attitude, yeah, it would be hell on earth for us. But luckily for us, the pets love to be petted, fed, drunk, eat, drink water, get washed every once in a while, and they love you. They love you.
Yeah.
That's why I say broads should be more like dogs. Pet them, feed them, fuck them good. And then hopefully the chick will love you. But human beings, the way that we are, it never happened. There's too much involved in the human psyche.
Well, you got to pet a human a lot longer than you have to pet a dog. A dog will let you get your shit off in 5 or 10 minutes, but a human being you'll be petting all day. And more ways than just with your hand too,
Yeah. You can talk about there's a book written about that now when women feel they're entitled. It's called the Cinderella complex. So yeah, I mean, it's just amazing the way that human beings are in a constant battle against themselves and against others, and they exaggerate what happened in the past. They exaggerate the fears of the future. It's just fucking incredible about our psyche. It's amazing how we ever got to where we are today, the way that we are. The kind of progress we make. We can make somewhat good economic progress. We can come up with good inventions. But, we still have the psyche of the Neanderthal man, I guess.
Yeah. Hey, life goes on. We got to do what we got to do. We have to make it into the next day. And whatever it takes in order for us to make it there safely and comfortably, we got to find a way. Yeah. All right, Joe, I got to get out of here. But I really enjoyed this conversation. Hey, thanks for coming through.
Me too, man. Look, I hope you show up tonight. On Saturday.
You gotta send me right in my inbox and send me the information. Just send a message to my information. I'll come through.
It's called Beyond the Main Street. That's the name of the show. I don't contact anybody on Blog Talk Radio. Nobody has my email. Nobody has my real phone number.
No.
I've seen some shit on Blog.
No, but there's you can send me a message on Blog Talk. So all right, it's called Beyond Main Street.
Beyond the mainstream.
Oh, Beyond the mainstream. Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And you said 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time?
9 p.m. Eastern. And to send you a comment, you actually have to be on Facebook. Because I've tried to leave comments before. And all of a sudden, my name shows up and I'm saying, wait a minute. I thought all I had to do was just write, sign in, log in, no. They didn't take my login name. They took me from Facebook, and I was only on Facebook for 5 minutes because I wanted to start a group for sales. Then I got my ass off of Facebook.
Okay.
Because they're getting too much information. So the comments, that's kind of like that's Facebook bullshit.
All right.
It's beyond the mainstream. If you got time, you have a lot of fun.
Well, I'll search for the show and see if I can find it, and I'll go
90 seconds.
I'll find it that way.
All right. So in the meantime, until the next show you got, and when I show up on your next show, hey, you be good, you be safe. All right.
All right. You too. Have a great day.
You too.
All right.
Bye now.
Great call. All right, y'all. We have some birthday shout outs to do. Some people were born on this glorious May 21st, and they deserve to be acknowledged. So let's go about our business of acknowledging them and making them feel special because they are special, because they are special, because they are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. They get the R-E-S-P-E-C-T. They are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. They get the R-E-S-P-E-C-T. They are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. They get the R-E-S-P-E-C-T. They get It's Gemini time. It's time for the twins, Taurus, Gemini. It's time to begin. Number one out the box, Shantae Williams, turning 48 years old today, and also Abreu Bebecita, turning 27 years old today, and Adeniki and Enioluwa, turning 29 years old today, and Donnell Poole, turning 56 years old today, and Timothy D. Williams, turning 42 years old today, and Angel Williams, turning 51 years old today, and Sakina McLaughlin, turning 49 years old today, and Nicole Santana, happy birthday to you, and Terrell B.A. Scott, turning 38 years old today, and Asia Marie Woods, happy birthday to you, and my girl from up there in Michigan, go-getter, Laini Atkins. She's a psych nurse. Happy birthday to you. And also my man Sylvester Wright, turning 50 years old. I want to say happy birthday to all of y'all and anyone else out there who shares this birthday on this glorious May 21st, anywhere out there in the world, worldwide, internationally, and universally. All of y'all go ahead and turn up. But don't turn up too loud. Just turn up loud enough so everybody can hear you. Rock out, rock on and do the damn, the rock out. Rock on and do the damn, rock out. Rock on and do the damn thing. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. And anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours. And remember, man, listen, check it out. You can't blame everything on everybody from your past. My ex-job, my ex-love, my ex-husband, my ex-spouse, my ex-kids, my ex-mom, my ex-dad, my ex-family. I don't deal with nobody no more because they all try to do me in, that's for sure. I barely made it by the skin of my teeth, and I still got a whole lot of beef. I'm gonna make the things right, but not today, not tonight, I won't bite, I won't chew on your line. You're not gonna get this fish this time. Everything is gonna be all right, one way or another, but I don't hang around my exes, sisters, and brothers, because y'all ain't about nothing. Y'all black people always out here in frontin'. Get me a white girl to make me feel better. Tired of y'all. I might even let her drive my car, take care of my kids, unlike I did. Just kidding. Peace to all my day ones, my everydays, and my brand news. I love y'all to death, resuscitate y'all, love y'all right back to life. Make sure y'all hit that like button, y'all. Make sure that y'all share the show. Make sure that y'all subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. I hope y'all enjoy listening to the show as much as I enjoy broadcasting it. Thanks to my man Joe for coming through. You know what I mean? Lighten it up a little bit. And thanks thank all of y'all for being in the chat, doing the damn thing. Shirley Cheryl, the world's most precious and greatest pearl in the world. Thanks for coming on through. And also Albert, thanks for coming by, y'all. All right, so we will be back tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I'll see y'all then. Until then, be safe. It's gonna be hot one a day. A hot one a day. We went from space heater to air conditioner all in the span of 24 hours. All right, I make more like 72 hours. But I'm saying though. Whoa. All right, so Blog Talk, let me get you out of here. I'm going to see y'all tomorrow, my
Thank you for
dear.
using
And for
Blog
my
Talk
YouTube,
Radio.
and for my
Goodbye.
YouTube, and for my YouTubers, you know just how we do. But thanks for coming on through. See you on the other side, my boo. You see you on the other side, my boo. Peace.